Welcome to episode 120 of the Purity for Life podcast, recorded on Sunday, March 1st, 2015. The most dangerous apps your kids are downloading. This week's app, Cyberdust. Hey everyone, this is Frank Honus, host of the Purity for Life podcast. Last week we started a series called The Most Dangerous Apps Your Kids Are Downloading, and we started talking about an app that's been around for a while, at least a few years now, called Snapchat. Very, very dangerous, potentially destructive app that millions of pre-adolescents and teenagers are downloading every single day. This week, I want to talk about an app that is very similar to Snapchat and yet different in some ways. This is a more recent app that has been developed called Cyberdust. And this particular app, is has been kind of an initiative started by Mark Cuban, who is a billionaire entrepreneur. Overall, I like Mark. I respect Mark and the person that he is, and everybody knows Mark Cuban from Shark Tank and all those things, and a very successful businessman, smart guy, and kind of agree with some of the things that I've read about this app. I really think he missed the boat when it came to this one. Made a pretty unwise decision in his initiative and joining the development of this app, and whether certainly I'm sure there was a certain amount of funding that he put into this, but this app is incredibly, incredibly harmful for this generation and for everyone, not even just young people, teenagers, adolescents, but this particular app is just very, very harmful, very potentially just has a lot of consequences attached to it. So like I said, last week we talked about Snapchat. This one similar. So what is Cyberdust? Cyberdust, like I said, very similar to Snapchat, but it's an app that allows all communication to delete once it's been opened, leaving no trace of who sent it or even the message. So different from Snapchat, where you send a photo to someone and it supposedly self-destructs and disappears, but there's really a copy of it stored on Snapchat servers. Text messages and any kind of MMS, photos, text messages, whatever is sent on through this particular app, Cyberdust, is totally deleted, and there is no copy. There is no backup. There is no other version stored on a server. It's just gone completely. And so it's a very popular app amongst teenagers and college students who they want to get away with sending things that they shouldn't. And it introduces and offers an incredible amount of being anonymous and hiding and secrecy that is attached to this app. So you can already begin to see the potential implications for what this app can do, and what things people might use this app for. Question you might have in your mind: would my child want it? If your child has a habit of wanting to live, a hidden online social life, then they probably have heard of this app, or maybe even have used it. If there's a desire and an appeal there for them to hide something from you, from people in their lives, then they probably will use it. Where can it be used? This app can be used anywhere where there is cell signal or Wi-Fi. Question: what should I watch out for? With this app, you should watch out for everything. It does not encourage openness or honest communication. Everything about this app is wrong. It's a total secret and promotes total dishonesty and hiddenness, really. There are no positives about this app, and I'm just kind of reading through here. Again, this is coming from Parental.tv, the review that they're doing on here. Thank you to iParent for writing this. What are the negatives here? Anonymous communication is never something you as parents need to worry about, is never something you as parents should need to worry about with your kids. Too many negatives on this one. And then iParents TV, or iParent.tv, what do we think? This isn't an app that you want your kids to have. If they do have it, ask them why and start a good conversation about building trust. Fortunately, this does not seem to be the app that they can literally hide. So again, like I said last week, if you are monitoring your son or daughter's devices, this is not something they can just simply hide on their iPhone or their iPad or their iPod Touch or whatever. This is something you can see quite clearly on, if you go into the home screen or go into a folder or wherever they have it, it is on there, and you can tell that it's on there. But when you see this icon, you know what to look for. Hopefully you know what to look for. And again, this is called Cyberdust. It is a messaging app that leaves no trace of any kind of message that was sent. And it's just really, really bad stuff. And so that's this week's app that I want to share and talk about with you. An app a dangerous app that your kids are probably downloading. And again, the message that we want to promote here, the Purity for Life podcast, is one of openness, is one of honesty, is coming out into the light. And I think a lot of pre-adolescents and kids have this mistaken message about honesty and openness that means that there's that it lacks a certain amount of thrill. It lacks a certain there's not an excitement about honesty, because if you think about it, if I think about going back to my addiction, there was a certain level, and it was an evil kind of motivation behind it. I think there was a real darkness behind it, but there was a certain thrill behind secrecy. There's a certain excitement behind isolation and hiding, that I was doing something, that I was seeing something that nobody else could see or knew about in my life. And yet that built so much isolation and so much dishonesty in my life. And so we want to encourage our kids. We want to really encourage them that honesty and openness is really the path that leads to freedom. It's and the scripture I want to share with you comes from Proverbs 28:18. The scripture says, "Honesty will keep you safe. Honesty will keep you safe. Openness will keep you safe. Integrity will keep you safe." These are words that I'm substituting, but certainly we know that word honesty to mean integrity, openness. Allowing what's inside to come out. Right? Honesty will keep you safe, but everyone who is crooked will suddenly fall. The Bible's pretty clear between honesty and dishonesty, and it pretty much tells you that when it comes to honesty and dishonesty, openness and being closed, openness and isolation, that we really come to like a fork in the road here. There's really one of two paths we're going to take. We're either going to be open with our lives and allow people to see inside what's going on, and not just allow people to see inside, but we're also going to tell people. We're also going to talk to people. We're also going to seek, community. We're going to seek honesty, seek openness, or we're going to live a life of hiding, where we're on the run every day, and where we are hidden, where things are not or things are not illuminated in the light, but they're in the dark. And this isn't a healthy life to live. And so this is the message we want to have a conversation about with our kids. And this message, I think, should start pretty early. I have our son is 17 months old, and he's a year and a half right now. And, certainly right now he's not going to understand, "Hey son, let's sit down and have a conversation about honesty." He's playing with his trucks, and he's, running around the house and watching Barney. But there will be an age and a time where we have a conversation about honesty and openness. And certainly as the older he gets, as he becomes a teenager and a pre-adolescent, and he becomes more engaged with devices and electronics technology, we're going to have that conversation. And it's not one that it's not a conversation that mom and dad want you to get in trouble. We love you. That's the real message, is that we love you and we want the best for your life. And Scripture tells us, Jesus tells us, the Lord wants us to be open and honest. And there should be no fear in that. We shouldn't be afraid of people looking in and seeing our world. We shouldn't have this desire to want to hide from people, because we're going to live really lonely, sad lives the more we isolate ourselves, and a lot of darkness can come in there, and a lot of deception and lying, and so again, Scripture says that honesty will keep us safe every single time. There's no consequence. Well, let me back up and say there's no harm in being honest and being totally open, and so that is the app this week that I want to share with you on the Purity for Life podcast, this app called Cyberdust. I really want to encourage you to go to iParent.tv and check out their list of apps, applications, social media that you can check out and be aware of there. There's lots of great resources on there. I just posted and shared a video about from Craig Gross that I would encourage you to check out, about encouraging your kids to get outside and play, and not be so connected to their devices. But like I said, lots of great resources on iParent.tv. We'll have links to in the show notes for that website. But again, every single week, the next several weeks, going to be sharing an app that is very dangerous, and that can really have some harmful effects on your son or daughter. So be aware of Cyberdust. Last week we talked about Snapchat. Next week we're going to talk about another one. But again, I hope this is an encouragement to you. I hope you're able to keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, go after your kids, be engaged in their lives when it comes to their use of technology, their use of mobile devices, and just because your engagement communicates that you love them, and that's what they need to know. So if you have any questions, you need any feedback, we'd love for you to contact me at purityforlife.me. That's the website. Lots of great content and resources there. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of the Purity for Life podcast. We'll see you next week. God bless.